Hello and welcome to another Josh's Tabletop Talk. This is the show where I talk about wooden surfaces, but most importantly, the games that are played on them. And in this episode, the sheep have come to pasture, if I've used that correctly. It's the Smash Up expansion that you could get for free just by taking their online survey last year. Who knows if we will see these again in another survey that they give, but here they are, the sheep faction in their wonderful, furry, woolly glory. I've also got the pirate faction from the original beginner's box of Smash Up. And because they are so similar in playstyles, if you will, the pirates are all about moving minions from base to base and destroying things, but the sheep are more so about moving, less so about destroying. They're also about using other people's abilities against them. But the first thing you'll see if you got this from taking the survey is this plastic divider. I guess this goes in the bigger, geekier box expansion. Very nice, so you can use that if you've got that expansion. And I also want to talk about the dynamics of the sheep deck itself. If you look here, starting from right to left, you've got the typical kind of dispersion of minions, the pattern of 4, 3, 2, and 1. So you'll notice that the pirates have the same thing, but their values are a little bit different. The pirates also have 4 minions of one type, 3, then 2, then of course their most powerful one is a 1. It's a 5, but there was only one of them. So let's get started looking a little bit closer at each of the cards that come in the sheep faction. So here we go. Here is your weakest minion, and it's a flock of sheep. I like the artwork. Each sheep is just a little bit different. It's just a sea of wool and faces, and you've got one with an eye patch in there, one with sunglasses. It looks pretty neat. And it reads, ongoing, after another minion moves from here to another base, move this minion to there as well. So if you've got multiples of these on one base, wow, you've got a herd of sheep moving from one place to another. Then we've got something a little surprising. We've got 3 of the black sheep, and they are power 4. And it reads, ongoing, after a minion is played here, move this minion to another base. So this minion works a little bit differently in that, as any minion whatsoever played here, well, this black sheep's gonna go somewhere else. So other players can affect the black sheep in that manner, but you can also affect it as well. But you do get to control where it goes after that. In contrast, the pirates, 3 minions of a type, have a power of 3, and of course the black sheep have a power of 4, making them more powerful, even though their abilities are different. Next, the 2 minions of a kind, they're also power 4, which kind of beefs up the sheep deck a little bit more so than many of the other decks that you'll find in Smash Up. So here's them. There's one of them. And the ram says talent. And for those of you who aren't aware of the talent phrase, talent is an ability that the minion can use every turn as long as it's in play. Talent, move this minion to another base, then you may return a minion of power 2 or less at that base to its owner's hand. So you can move this sheep every turn and return other minions to their hands every single round. So if you've got 2 of these roaming around, it can be pretty devastating to an enemy faction. they're definitely going to want to get rid of that. And then the most powerful minion in the sheep deck, it's Little Bo Peep. There she is. And I'll read this in a minute after you get to gaze upon Little Bo Peep. Haha, have you seen this sheep? That's what it says on the flyers. Ongoing. Other players cannot move minions to or from here. And her talent, move one of your minions to here. So she can flock her minions to the base that she is on. And keep in mind, she can not just flock sheep, but what other minions may also be in the deck that she gets smashed up into. So that's wonderful. Now let's take a look at actions. And I counted the pirate deck has 5 action cards that have to do with movement. The sheep have 4 action cards, but nevertheless, the difference between the pirates is usually that in order for them to move something, certain special requirements have to be met first. Whereas the sheep are really all just about moving. But the first movement cards, there's 2 of these, is You Shall Pass. Lord of the Rings reference. All right, You Shall Pass. Move one of your minions to another base. Draw a card. That's another thing. You get to draw cards with a lot of these. You may play an extra action. So, action stacking right there. Then it's In Sheep's Clothing. Play on a minion ongoing after another minion moves from here to another base. You may move this minion to there as well and discard this action. So this is a way of being able to move minions on perhaps your turn or other people's turns. And so that's that. In Sheep's Clothing. Then there's On the Lam. More puns intended. Choose a base where you have a minion and another player. Move that minion and all of that player's minions there to a single other base. And it's got the dragons from Dragon Faction chasing a little sheep. Kind of thematic, goes along with it. And now we're going to talk about the other action cards that really don't have as much to do with movement. Counting Sheep. Play on a base, ongoing. After the power of another player's minion increases, your minions here gain +1 power until the end of the turn. A way of buffing your sheep, or whatever other minions get smashed up with the sheep. I love this one. This is just a reference to any resource trading games that are out there, like Catan. Action, it's called Wood for Sheep. Choose another player, reveal a random card from their hand. You may play a card from your hand into their hand to play the revealed card as an extra card. Otherwise, return it. So there's that one. We've got 2 of this next card. It's To Follow or Not. And the card reads, choose another player, choose a random action in their discard pile. I guess they'll shuffle up their random ones and flip it upside down, I don't know. And play it as an extra action or return it, and then draw a card. Seems pretty neat, allowing you to use, so there's multiple examples of using other people's cards against them. Then you've got Shearing. Play on your minion, draw a card. Ongoing, this minion has -2 power. Return this action to your hand at the start of your next turn. So this goes back to your hand every single time, and it just allows you to draw an extra card whenever you want to, with the temporary penalty of a -2 minion. That doesn't seem too bad at all. I like that. And then, Hello Dolly, Sheep Cloning. Special, play after another player plays an action. Copy the ability of that action. So, once again, another example of being able to steal other players' abilities. And that is the sheep deck in its entirety. And of course, before we go, every faction comes with 2 location cards. So the location card we have here is Sheep Shrine. It is power 19. After this is played, each player may move one of their minions to here. If played during setup, replace it and shuffle it back into the deck. So that's interesting because it can only be played in the middle of the game. Power 19, you score 4, 2, and 1 respectively for the control of the base. And then one of the higher numbered bases at 25, it's the pasture. And after the first time you move a minion to this base each turn, move another minion from there to here. And it's power 25, and you score 5, 3, and 2 respectively. Those are the sheep in their woolly glory. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you did, like and subscribe. Check out my other videos on my series, and also check out our board game reviews and playthroughs and our other channel series as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.